Hello TikTokers, I decided to try a different effect today. It seems to kind of complement the subject. I'm the Christian Relationship Counsellor, and today I'm going through the Bible. I'm still in Matthew. I've reached Matthew 25:31, and what I do is I try to interpret it so it relates to today. And so today I was reading about, it's called the final judgment. And it's where God says he kind of compares the end where he's going to, compares it with shepherds who have goats and sheep, and how the sheep are going to be on the right side and the goats are going to be on the left. And I was thinking to myself, why does he make that analogy with goats and sheep? And I think it's because we are all one human family, but we all have our different characteristics, different habits, different care needs, different nutritional needs. And we all, I think, we have parts of us, well, some of us who are conformists, others we have rebels. So with regard to the sheep, on the right hand, they are applauded, they will stay with God, and they will be the chosen ones. And it implies that if you're conformist or if you are obedient, obedient to the will of God, really, and those sheep, because they have this flocking instinct and they all stick together, it implies that they will all be doing the will of God on that side. I'm not quite sure if that's really what it means, but what I was thinking of is that they were the ones who were caring for people. They were compassionate. They were considerate. They were hospitable. They cared for people who they didn't know. Whereas the goats are considered narcissists. They just thought about themselves. They don't care about other people. They're self-absorbed. When people ask them for help, they don't help them. They're bitter. They're angry. And yeah, so those people are going to be cast away. I think when people are in this life, they forget about what their traits represent and how their traits are going to be judged and how they treat others. They think that only what they see and how they feel matters, and they forget there's an all-seeing God, an all-seeing eye that watches what's going on. And what individuals put credence on for themselves is not necessarily what God puts credence on. And it's about looking at yourselves, looking at what motivates you to do things. Are you motivated by self-interest, or are you motivated genuinely to help other people? Which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side of the sheep, or are you going to be on the side of the goat? You know, it's very interesting, because when you think about that analogy, because I was wondering, why did he choose sheep and goat? And I think it's because from a distance you can't really tell the difference. You have to go really up close to see the difference between a sheep and a goat. And so God would really have to get on the inside of a person to see who they really are, because you can't really judge them from a distance. They all look the same. Okay, when you got close, you see that the sheep has a woolly coat. His tail goes upwards. Sometimes they have those round horns. And I think they're the main differences. And I think there's something to do with the lip. With the goat, their tail goes down. But sometimes, from a distance, you can't really tell. And the shepherd will separate the goats from the sheep, even though they're from the same family. You'll notice that they cannot breed together. It's because the chromosomes are different. And so each one of us, we might be the same human family, but there are subtle differences. And our traits and the way we behave and the way we treat others is what will determine what side we're on. It will determine whether God chooses us or he doesn't, or he discards us. We really need to check ourselves. on a daily basis? How are you treating other people outside your family? How are people treating you? How do people view you? Would, if you was to stand in line and all the people that you met over your lifetime, and God was to question them and say, how did Myrna treat you? What was she like? What will they say? Will they say I was helpful? Will they say I was obnoxious? Will they say I was impatient? Will they say she never helped me? Will they say I asked her for something and she didn't give it to me, even though she had it? I mean, I have done that. Somebody's asked me for money, a lot of money. And I judged them from their lifestyle. And I decided, no, I'm not going to give you that money. Because especially if you tell me that you're going to give me that money the next day, my logic kicks in and says, okay, if you're going to give it back to me the next day, why can't you give it back to that person the next day? So my spirit of discernment comes in. But I would like to think if I felt that somebody was in genuine need, I would help. But God knows our hearts, he knows our thoughts, and he knows the type of people we are. You know what I mean? So it is about what's in your heart, why you do what you do, why you make the choices that you make, and you are accountable and responsible for those choices and those decisions. God knows whether or not you're bluffing. God knows whether or not you're sincere. So you can kind of sweet it over till the cows come home. Who are you fooling? Are you fooling yourself? Are you fooling God? You cannot fool God. So that is why one will be left and one will be taken. So we really have to check ourselves each and every day. It's not easy to be nice all the time, and nobody's asking you to be nice all the time. What God is asking is that you show love and you show compassion and you have a generous spirit. That's what God expects. God expects you to help other people where you can, and not to have this officious kind of, because when you think, I was thinking about the government again, because like I said, the government has a bad rap. But what other government, well, I guess there are a few governments, but our government gives to people who are not working. Yes, they really have to go through the hoops to get that money, but they're quite a benevolent, government, because they do give where they think there's a need. And we have our hospitals, providing you are a citizen and you have leave to remain in the country, you're entitled to free healthcare. So it does offer, it is a compassionate system. So yes, we have to kind of check ourselves as well. Not always knock the government, not always knock our neighbours, and we have to look at ourselves. What are we doing for other people? Because the thing is that people seem to think, if they go to church and if they worship God and they say, oh yeah, I've done this for you and I've done that for you, and then they go home and they're horrible to their spouses or members of their family, it doesn't count. God doesn't care what you do for him. He does, but he cares more about what you do for his representatives, the brothers and the sisters, the people around you. How are you treating them? So, I didn't write anything down, did I? Did I? No, I didn't. Final judgment, we will all be separated as a shepherd separates sheep from goats. Yeah, that's all I've put down. But yeah, I'm not going to lengthen this. I'm going to end it here. But let me know if you've got any thoughts or feelings about this. Thank you.